Thanks for joining me for this short scale study. Today, we're going to be building our tone and technique in the key of concert G minor. Before we begin, let's talk about some of the names and the notes we'll need on today's concert G minor scale study page. It all starts, we're going to need with an A. We're going to start with an A because the concert G minor scale for clarinet is an A minor scale. So A, then B natural, C, D, E, F natural, G sharp. The G sharp is used in our harmonic minor scale and arpeggio. And then the top note is the note A. So A minor scale, and we're going to start with the harmonic minor scale and arpeggio in quarter notes. As I always do, my metronome is set at 70 beats per minute. Let's begin. 1, 2, ready, and. Next, we're going to do that same harmonic minor scale and arpeggio, but this time in the 8th note rhythm pattern. 1, 2, and ready, and go. Good. I hope you're still successful using the G sharp for both of those scales. If you need to, pause or rewind and play these scale studies or these scales again for more accuracy, and that will help build your success. Now we'll do the minor chords. I'll play the bottom. 1, 2, ready, and. And now we'll move on to the pattern of thirds. The pattern of thirds gives us a choice of high and low notes. I'm going to pick the high notes as my choice for this exercise. And that means I'm going to need my upper register fingerings. I'm going to start with the note A, but then I'll quickly need my register key and C, and then I'll need my B natural, my 2 pinky B, and my D. And then my finger will go back down for the C, third space C, and then my high E fingering, and then D, and so on. If you'd like to join me for those high register notes, that would be great. You may also choose to play the lower fingerings. 1 and 2 and ready and go. Good. Now, no matter what notes that you've played in that exercise, try and challenge yourself to learn and be able to play with accuracy the others. So if you played the low, now try the high, and if you did the high, do the low. Okay? For time's sake, we're going to move on to the chromatic pivot scale. The pivot note of today's chromatic pivot scale is E. We're going to keep returning to that note E over the line of music. We're going to also need our D sharp, which, remember, is just the fingering for E flat. 2 fingers on our left hand with a thumb, and then our side key activated by our first index finger on our right hand. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. case you missed it, 3 notes from the end of that chromatic pivot scale was a note called low A sharp. A sharp is also referred to as B flat. It's an enharmonical equivalent. So at that point in the chromatic pivot scale where it says A sharp, you can use your first finger B flat fingering that you know and love. Great. Now we'll move on and play our chromatic scale. 1, 2, ready, begin. Did you notice that the second note of the chromatic scale was A sharp? And you could have used your first finger B flat fingering there. I hope you did. Also, I hope that on the way down the chromatic scale, in the 5th measure, the 4th note is a G flat. I hope you recognize that as an F sharp. Remember, there is a fingering guide at the end of this method book, and you could always turn there for help on your fingerings. Also, remember that at any time, you can pause and rewind these advanced scale studies and redo them with me. Let's finish up with the chorale. I'm going to play the bottom notes of the chorale, and I challenge you to play the top notes so that we have a duet. 1, 2, ready. There you have it, Concert G minor, and I hope it was helpful for you. Consider playing through this advanced scale study again with me, maybe today or maybe on a different day. And then consider moving on to other advanced scale studies. They can be really helpful. So, like I always say, see you again soon. Keep practicing.